Welcome to Pump Up Your Pod.
La dee da dee da, la da.
Welcome to me, Brianna from Bambi Media. I am going to run through something for you here because Apple just made an awesome announcement and I want to tell you all about it. So, Apple has just announced that they are going to be offering from May a podcast subscription service, meaning that for all you podcast creators out there, you are now going to be able to allow people to pay you within Apple to subscribe to your show or to subscribe to, aspects of it. And it's pretty exciting. It's something that I've been wondering when it's going to happen because I feel like podcasting has been something that has been free for a very long time other than the ads, and there's going to be more and more ads. This is what I was sort of thinking. It's going to be that the bigger shows are going to start to have more and more ads. It's going to feel more like radio and people are going to get pissed with that because ads are annoying as hell. And so I was wondering how they were going to actually monetize it other than, people monetizing it themselves. So this is very interesting. So Apple's changing a bunch of things. They're prettying things up. They're introducing this thing called channels as well, meaning that for creators that have multiple shows within their channel, like for example, Luminary, just pulled up. So Luminary has a bunch of shows within its brand, its channel, meaning that once Apple goes live with this thing, you can, if you have a bunch of shows or you're an agency or something and you support a bunch of shows, then you can have them all within your channel so people can easily go, oh, I love Luminary shows. I'm going to subscribe to that channel or I'm going to be able to see all those shows and that sort of thing. So that's really cool. NPR will be another one that's really good for that. The ABC in Australia, I would imagine there'll be channels for that. Mamma Mia, things like that, So it'll be really cool in that way to be able to search for things easier or see things that you like because they are in a channel, which is really cool. The other thing, it's going to start to look prettier, which is good. They're giving it a facelift. There's going to be like a bigger area where you can see like the image and there'll be more focus on that. And I really like that idea because at the moment everything's small and you can't really make it look really branded for you. So I feel like this is going to be able to increase your branding aesthetic for your show because you'll be able to put a bit more effort into that stuff. So that's super exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. They're also giving you more options, and they have been rolling that out anyway, giving you more options in embed codes and things that you can, like different ways that you can market it and different like banners and things that you can use. And the embed code looks really nice. So that's really good, but they did already have that, and I think that they're actually just changing that up a bit and maybe making it look a bit fancier as well. So I really like the aesthetic aspect. I like what they're changing there. I like that it's going to be easier to navigate and that sort of thing, and focus on what you want to see there. It's going to be for these 170 countries, there's going to be a bunch of different creators. Like there's a heap of different things going on there, and you're going to be able to sign up to become part of the Apple Podcasters program, which is cool. You need an Apple ID and a login. You get to be able to log into the back end of Podcast Connect, and you'll be able to see a bunch of metrics that you have never seen before. And it's actually also easier now to see all the reviews that you're receiving. This is all awesome news. So at the moment, it looks a bit like this. So these are just all the shows that we have submitted for different clients and that sort of things. But you can see that you can go into, this is an old one, for example, ratings and reviews, and you can see all the ratings and reviews there, which is nice. It means that you don't have to go to Chartable or Podkite to access all your reviews. You'll be able to see them all there, which I really like. The availabilities and rights, you can decide where you want your show to be like seen or listened to. It makes no sense to me that you wouldn't want it everywhere, but you can go in and edit and actually change the region, that sort of thing, get rid of some. I don't know why you would do that, to be honest, but it's something that you can do. And then there's show information, things there, show contacts, like all sorts of stuff there. So there's that kind of area. And then there's also your analytics. Again, you did have analytics before in the back end of Apple Podcasts, and you didn't really need them either, because if you're with a good podcasting host, there's really good analytics and stats within the podcast host. Let's say, for example, Buzzsprout, the one that we love, there's just a whole bunch of stats at the back end of that. So you don't necessarily need the analytics, but I'm interested because Apple Podcasts is saying they're going to be providing more analytics, and I haven't seen that yet. So it'll be interesting as to what they actually get there and whether the analytics are really, really good. So that'll be just like an added bonus there, and reports and things that you can do. The agreement is when the Apple Podcasters program actually becomes available, you'll be able to sign an agreement, meaning that you approve for this sort of stuff, and there's a whole terms and conditions things that you need to fill out and submit to that. Now, and then once you do that, then you can start getting people to subscribe to your show. Now, as to what that looks like, we won't know until the beta program is up, and that's not up yet. So I'll have to wait and see for that. But I wanted to get you excited about this because it's fantastic for creators. It means that they're kind of shoving Patreon, giving Patreon a bit of a shove, because Patreon was previously where you could just pay like a little amount of money to some sort of creator to support their art in some way. So it actually just makes it easier for podcast creators to grab the attention of people that listen to podcasts, get them to subscribe, pay a little bit of money, and the podcast creator decides how much money, like they can, set that kind of thing. And you can pay monthly or annually as well, which is cool. That will be good. And yeah, so it means that you kind of don't need Patreon anymore. If that was something you were doing as a podcast creator, you won't really need Patreon, because you'll be able to just have people pay you through Apple Podcasts. The Apple Podcast program costs about, what was it, 20 something? Yeah, $27.99 AUD for a year for you to have the opportunity to sell subscription places for your show. And then the US is 20 US, Canadian, $24.99. So they're the big ones. So it costs you a bit of money. You have to approve it. You have to, pay for that. And then you also have to sign an agreement and that sort of thing, and read the terms and conditions and that sort of stuff. And then you can start to receive payments for your show, which is cool. Now, you don't get 100% of those payments. You'll get, from what I read, I think it was 70%. Let me just see if I can find that again. I believe it was 70% of the money, something like that. I can't find it right now, but I did just have it before. So I believe it's 70 or around 70% of the subscription for the first year. And then once that person has been a subscriber of your show for more than a year, then your subscription amount goes up to 85% of the takings for it. So that's cool. That means that obviously Apple's getting some and you're getting the bulk of it. And then anything else you have in there that is already your material anyway, like if you did have ads or you were getting payments from anything else, Apple can't take any of that. It's just the subscriptions that you're getting through Apple that you're getting 70% of, and then 85% if they're with you for more than a year. Now, the only thing that I'm thinking about here that could be hard for the people that are subscribing to shows is if you've got a lot of shows that you love, then you could be forking out a fair bit to subscribe to all these shows and give them all some money. So I think this amount that you pay would have to be a pretty small amount to feel like you can support a bunch of shows. In saying that, if you only really listen to 2 or 3 shows really regularly, then that makes that makes it kind of not too bad as far as an expense thing goes. So that's something that we'll have to play with a little bit and see how much money people are actually willing to spend for that sort of thing, to subscribe to a show, to get ad-free content, especially for the bigger shows. That's huge, not having to have ads at the beginning of things and midways and that sort of stuff. I'd pay a bit of money to not have to listen to that stuff. That'd be cool. And then also having stuff that comes, like you get content before everyone else. There's an option to do that within the show that you already have, but there's also the option for you to have a subscribers only podcast, which is really cool for all you course creators and people with memberships out there, because you could have a podcast that supports your membership program, that it's like, hey, this is the membership, you've got a course, you've got all this stuff, and then as well, you have a podcast that people put a little bit of money towards to actually have that as part of their course content. That's really cool. And you could also have it that there's like a different model for that. If they can't do the whole course, or they don't want to be a part of the membership and they don't want your hot seats and they don't want all that sort of stuff, they could just subscribe to the show. And then they get the content all in audio, whatever you decide to provide there, but they don't get any communication with you. So there's like a model there of potentially gaining like that next kind of financial model there, something that you can offer that is in between an offer that you already have, that's like that missing piece that could grab more people in. So very excited about the prospects of this, and we will see how it develops. And I'm hoping that other podcast platforms are going to follow suit, and that there's going to be other subscription models for different services, because at the moment, for it to only be with Apple means that you're losing out on all the people that don't have iOS devices. So as to what and how that plays out, we'll have to wait and see. I know that Spotify has been hinting at some sort of subscription model for their stuff as well, but I don't think it's going to be a pay per subscriber. I think it's going to be like you pay a certain amount per month and then you get to listen to podcasts ad-free. So I don't know how much the actual creator would make out of that versus the Apple Podcast method, where you're getting 75 or 70 to 85% of the profits of that. That makes so much more sense as a creator. So we'll have to see what the other actual platforms and how that plays out and plays into each other. We'll also have to look at how the podcast platforms like Buzzsprout, Blueberry, Libsyn, how this is all going to work together as well, and what they're going to have to change to keep up with that sort of stuff as well. Because as it stands at the moment, you can submit a show now, or you will be you will be able to very soon submit a show without it coming from a platform, an RSS feed. I don't know how you do that yet. I haven't looked into that, but there is an option there in the back end of Apple Podcasts to do that. So I'll do some investigating to see there. And you would want to make sure that these podcast platforms keep up and deliver things that are going to make sense and interact and do really well, keep up with the analytics and all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned for more on this, but I just want to get you excited about the prospect of doing this and thinking about how you can finally monetize your show in this very real way, as far as all the other ways that you can monetize it in different things. But this is a very concrete way of, well, they're subscribing to my show and I'm getting some money directly from that. This is huge news. That's it. If you have any questions, definitely contact hello@bambimedia.com. Go to our website, bambimedia.com. If you're interested in our courses, we have courses over at creativebrandinglab.com, and that's a whole bunch of stuff in there as well. So yeah, that's it for today, and I hope you have a lovely day.